Hey everybody, race fans, here we are in the national headquarters again. Monday morning, colder than a boulder here. I think when I came over this morning was 7. Yesterday it was 1. The wind chill factor yesterday I think was like 16 below. I think it's 11 or 12 below today. Shop here, you know, this antique building, hard to heat up. Once they get cold soaked, man, it is hard to keep things warm in this neck of the world. So weird part is by Thursday it's supposed to be 54 degrees. Go figure. Global warming, right? Yeah. Global cooling, climate change. That's what they call it when it goes from summer to winter. You bunch of morons. Anyways, I hope everybody liked my last video. I know it was a little bit long, but there was a lot there I wanted to share. Hopefully most of you found it interesting. I'm really hoping most of my videos aren't that long, like 30 minutes at the most, because I'm a man and I understand I can watch something for so long and I see something shiny and I'm distracted easily. So I'm trying to, you know, add content. This will be a once a year thing, going to the PRI show. I will share more information next year. I'm going to go. I was invited to come back and hang out with Angela and Timmy and the whole crew there at ATM. They were super gracious. And like I said, they're good friends. I appreciate their friendship. You know, I've had people in my life that I thought were my friends that, yeah, not so much. Anyways, matters not. I'm living life and living the dream here. Well, in the shop here, at least me and Jeff are. So I'm going to show you a little bit what's going on here. And like I said, I wanted to thank everybody who did stick through my videos and appreciate that. Today I'm going to focus on the truck. I got to get that thing out of the back room so I can get my Chevy 2 in there. It's got another 3 inches of snow piled on it. Like I said, that's pretty pitiful, but that's just, you know, I'm an old guy. I don't have any place to store this stuff. So, yeah, like Connie says, I own too much junk, so maybe I should liquidate some of it. In my infinite wisdom, I reached out to a feller a little bit north of me who's got an LS5 engine out of a 70 something, a Chevelle Corvette. I'm not sure what it's out of, but I know it's an LS5. I can tell by the casting numbers and the code on the engine, but I always wanted to do something different with my Chevelle because it's got that 402 in it. It's a mutt. It's a mutt. The previous owner changed the camshaft in it. Now the thing has no cranking compression because the camshaft's way wrong. Versus doing that and rebuilding that motor, since it's a numbers matching motor, I don't want to take any chance of wrecking it. I'm just going to pull that out and set it aside, and then I'll build this LS5 and put it back in it. I still want to keep it fairly original, but it'd be nice if it had 400 horsepower. I mean, this guy said it dynoed at 400, but I guarantee you it don't. It's probably 300. It's a mutt. So I want to fix that. Still make it drivable, because of this big camshaft in it, all the duration it's got, it's not drivable. Like I say, it's just stupid. So anywho, here's what's going on in the shop. I'm going to share this with you and hopefully you enjoy it. And thanks for watching, guys. I do appreciate you putting up with my idiocy. Here goes. This monster's by the door. It's going to get wired this afternoon. We're going to take it up and drop it off at Jordan's. We've got as far as we can get. We got, as you can see, the vacuum pumps on it. We got that where it needs to be. The mandrel, Jeff has to modify or had to modify because it won't fit in with the pulley. So he's taking care of that. Alternator's on its way. I didn't want to order an alternator until I knew how much room we had. And I just got like a 70 amp mini that I'm going to try to jam in that tiny little hole with the oil filter. And then we can finish hooking up our water lines. The only other line we have to run, I believe, is in the trunk from the expansion tank to the overflow tank. Those fittings are coming. This is my third fitting order, but yeah, as you're going with a car like this, you sort of got to plan ahead. I got a few extra fittings, but not many. I think I got like 2 or 3 extra fittings, but we still have to put the diaper on it, but I didn't want to do that. I told you guys about the header flanges. I did stop at Stainless Headers because that's where all my parts come from, and talk to them about what they got, and they told me absolutely no problem, send them back, there won't be any restock fee. Man, thank you guys, that was awesome, appreciate that. So I got to get them boxed up and get them shipped, but she's ready to roll. Close to the door. Bill's bringing his trailer so we can get it up there. I want him to meet Jordan. I think I told you before, expensive car, so he needs to meet Jordan and know that everything's good. I got Jordan's battery set in there, and then the box of stuff from K&R. This has a K&R heavy duty switch panel and the relay board and all that stuff, so this should be a pretty easy one for Jordan to wire because there's no delay box or nothing else, basically just a trans brake. So there's some lights in there that he's got to wire, but no biggie. I think I told you guys before, we pre-wired some of that stuff so he doesn't have to pull a radiator out, but that's where we're at there. Then when this leaves, we're going to start on this bed, Jeff and I, tomorrow, and try to get it ready to go on the truck. We got to cut everything out of the middle because he just wants the fenders and the tailgate, and then I'll have to remount that stuff. And I've got a 20-gallon fuel cell coming for him, so hopefully by the end of the week this thing's ready to leave as well. So I've got 2 other ones, like the Henry J, Greg Minnick's Henry J's got to come back in. And then I've got my buddy Dave Crabtree. I got to do a tonneau cover on his 70 or 69, I think, El Camino. So I think I told you guys, maybe I didn't. I joined up with these guys at the show, the NDRL. Plus, I'm going to try to run straight axle mafia stuff. NDRL has come up with a gasser class, and they graciously gave me a page with the rules and all that good stuff. So the only thing I'm doing wrong right now with my car is this got a 7AL3 in it, and I have to take that out and put the 7AL2 back in there because you can't have any 2 steps or anything. Even if it don't work, they don't want them in the car. So, and with what I was doing, I had one. So I think when I do that, I'm going to wire in a quick connect plug. I might buy a Deutsch connector kit and then wire in a plug so I can just swap it in and out real easy versus unscrewing and screwing everything in. So back here, as you can see, the table's about empty. We got a spare set of flanges. These are what we had cut for Bill's car. He had Cometic make these gaskets, and then what happened is Frank Bowling over there at QS, he painted it black and scanned it so he could copy this, and then they found a stage 5 flange diagram on the interweb, so they had something to work with there, and the flanges turned out really good. I had the ports done round because we're using 2 1/4 inch tubing, and the ports are a lot different in size than the head on the head versus this flange. The port's smaller, so I figured this wasn't going to affect anything. We're building zoomies on this car. It makes it easier for me because I can just slip that tube in there and tack weld it, and then when I'm done, pull it all apart and finish weld it. Yeah, that's what we got going there. So most of this stuff goes back to Bill. Some nuts and bolts. Got some Zeus fasteners we got to put on the hood yet. I've not done that, and the diaper's got to go on, and I'm going to make that quick connect like I did in the Chevy 2. But we want, like I say, need to get the alternator on and all that stuff so we know where to mount this stuff. On the truck, I talked to you guys about how to heat the manifolds up. Well, this is like a manifold dressing that I got from Speedway Motors that works extremely well. So I'm going to get that on today. The manifolds, I'm going to try to finish putting the horn button in. All my wiring stuff and everything got shipped to Bill Archer's house for some dumb reason. I just didn't look at the order. It's my fault. It's got to be. So we're going to try to get manifolds on, the heat shields on, plug wires done. The gas tank, I would love to get the gas tank back in this thing. The gasket material showed up, so I want to get that done. My fuel line run. Try to get as much of that stuff as I can get done so that I can start wiring this thing. Usually I have Jordan do this one, but like I said, man, I'm running out of money, and if I give Jordan the money that I have to pay him to wire this, then I can't finish the rest of it. You don't want to put a new seat in it versus the old seat, and that's $1,000. So who knows what, like, I'm going to put a rubber floor mat in this thing because it's going to be a work truck, and I'll have to probably paint the top of that silver stuff. I don't know how high the mat goes in there, but like I say, this is simple. There's not much to it, so I should be able to wire this one, and the doors are off so I can lay in there. Usually, like with all this stuff, I'll have Jordan do it because he's a lot more flexible than me. So, but as you can see, the power steering pump's on. This got fluid in it. I got oil in it. The engine's primed. Water pump's on. My alternator bracket showed up. That's something I want to show you here. We found this kit on the Jungle. The lower bracket, the upper bracket, and all the bolts. It's like $21 on the Jungle. So, and my buddy Steve Barnett said he could get me that stuff, but I just did this, you know, versus him taking it off something out there in the snow. I just bought this, so it's all coming together. I still have to fix that, and I'm trying to determine what I want to do there. So that switch panel, but I was looking for them at the trade show. They weren't there. That's mostly high performance stuff there. It's not curb feelers and fuzzy dice like SEMA. SEMA's curb feelers and fuzzy dice, and it's all a big freaking ego fest there. So anyways, fan looks a little crunchy. I wasn't going to sand it and paint it and detail it. That's good enough for me. So then, like I said, I still have to work on the brakes before I put the front end in, but I'd like to get this thing down on the ground where it will move under its own power. That way I can get the front end back in here, and I want to paint the inner fender wells, and they bent them up and cut them up with a cutting torch, so I got to clean all that up and paint that. Then I can wire the headlights and everything. So that's what we got going on in here. Like I say, pretty excited about getting this up to Jordan's. You know, everything that's going on in the shops, it's going well, so we're gonna have a busy week this week. I'll try to share every day what's going on. Like I say, my gasket material showed up there, so I have to make that gasket, which shouldn't be that big a deal. So, well, that's Monday. Thanks for watching, everybody. Talk to you in the morning. Hey everybody, Tuesday morning. Still cold out here. It's supposed to warm up into the low to mid 30s today, and then in the 40s tomorrow. So yeah, mid 50s Thursday. Yeah, good way to catch pneumonia. Show you a couple things that happened yesterday. What we got going on today is just going to be a cutting and grinding and a nasty, dirty, messy day. So way to cut this truck bed apart. So there'll be things to see tomorrow, but today's going to be a mess. So let me show you. Here goes. It's gone. Jordan and Jerry have it. They waited for us yesterday afternoon. Bill and I got it delivered. Bill headed north and we headed south. So we're back home. Jordan said it'd be done between Christmas and New Year's, so we get it back in here, a few days worth of work, and she should be good to go. Truck bed, yeah, I'm gonna roll it out here in a second, and as soon as Jeff gets here anyways, we'll roll it out here and start cutting the whole middle out of it. Part showed up for the truck, wiring harness. I'm gonna take the instructions home and look at that. Fuel line fitting so I can hook up my carburetor. Sorted through all my belts. Found a belt for it. show you what's going on back here. Okay. Exhaust manifolds are on, heat shields are on, plug wires are laying on the motor. I got to finish them up this week. I'm going to get the plug wires done, but the alternator's mounted. I sort of had to, being that this heads are not, they don't have a bolt here, I just sort of used a bolt through the bottom of the alternator, and it seems pretty solid, so I mean everything seems okay. I got to get some heater hose yet. The fuel line, you can see the fuel line's hooked up to the fuel pump. I'm going to put a AN fitting in here and then the carb and run an AN line up there. But gas tank's in. There's a little bit of a bear doing myself. I got the gas tank in, the filler neck's in, I got the fuel line run. I put a filter inline filter under the truck. So next thing's going to be finish up the plug wires, then I'm start doing the electrical. I'm hoping the Friday and Saturday I can get it to the point where this baby probably almost run, or be very close. So if I go out and about, I'm going to get me some heater hose and do that, and then start to try to figure out the wiring. So everything's good here. Short video. Got some of my junk dumped out on the table here for the truck. Usually don't never use much of this stuff, but there's some new stuff there, the hose clamps and everything. So say Bill's pile has dwindled greatly. There's not much left of his stuff. Extra set of header flanges, the gaskets, another belt in the pile of belts. Okay, so what's going on? I'll be able to show you some more tomorrow. Thanks for keeping up with me, everybody. Hey everybody, it's taco day here at the shop. Jeff and I got a lot done yesterday. I'm going to show you a little bit about what we got done today. Greg Minnick's Henry J's coming back in so he could finish it and get it running. So he's ready for springtime. They've put the motor and transmission in themselves, radiator antifreeze, stuff like that. So basically we got some wire termination to do and build a set of headers, and then just double check everything. I'm sure the pinion angle needs to be reset, and we have to finish the wheelie bars. Something happened to the pieces for the wheelie bars. They said they never got them. I know they did. So we're going to rebuild them, build the top bars and the crossbar, and get them powder coated and put back on the car. So let me show you what's up. The truck. We held this out yesterday. I built that frame to hold the front of the bed up. This is what he wanted, just the fenders. I'm having a little bit of an issue on this side. I did the fender brace on the bottom but did not realize that the bottom of the fender was bent in, so we fixed that. I'll get that going tomorrow. I got to put the bed braces in and then mount the fuel cell right here. I got a 20-gallon fuel cell up here sitting in that big brown box that we're going to mount in it, and then it'll basically be ready for him to take home. I got to try to tie wiring up. It's all laying on the floor, bunch of junk there. He wanted me to plumb it, but I ain't doing that. It needs to have the motor and transmission stuff back in it to plumb it, so I'm just going to teach him how to do that. So rearrange the Willie stuff, but we're going to have to move that again because we want to put the Henry J where the lift goes, or where the lift is, and get it going on. Just going to work on that while I'm finishing the truck up, because I'm hoping the truck can leave this weekend. I got to shim the bed up. I build it, like if you look at the body lines, I build it a little low so that we can shim the bed accordingly. I wanted to be able to shim it up and down, which is maybe dumb on my part, but it's just what I was thinking when we were building it. So, but nothing's happening in the back room. What did happen though is I ordered a 12-circuit wiring harness from Speedway, because that's what Jordan had put in my car, my Chevy 2. And I can tell you, man, it's really a nice piece. The instructions are nice, you know, extremely well detailed. I like that. You know, it tells where every wire goes. All the wires are labeled. You know, pretty good instructions. If there's any more problems with it, I'll let you know. But man, I'm liking this. So pretty much, yeah, covers everything. I don't know what's on the back side of this sheet, but well, there's several sheets there. I'm gonna take this stuff home tonight and try to study it a little bit, because Friday and Saturday I'm gonna try to get this thing wired. Now I'm picking up an engine for my Chevelle. I found a LS5 close to here. I'm gonna get it, and then once I get the Camaro sold and the 565 from the Camaro sold, I'm gonna build that and put it in the Chevelle. I do not want to damage the original engine. So yeah, this was a lot of work. It took Jeff and I about 5 hours to cut all this junk out and not kill the paint job. So, but we got it. That's what's happening today. Tomorrow there'll be a lot more to see. So I'll see you then. Good morning. It's Thursday. Today is our company Christmas party, which really, the whole thing that happens at our Christmas party is me and Jeff go to lunch like we do almost every day. So nothing special, but we're going to go somewhere different, so that's what makes it special. Let me show you what's going on in here. This thing has wheels on it and it's on the ground. What I'm going to try to do is get it by the door, because he's going to come and get it tomorrow or Saturday. Saturday I'm going to go up to a town a little north of me. I found a guy with an LS5 engine for sale, 70 LS5. I think I mentioned that before. I'm going to go pick that up. It's for my Chevelle. And Jeff is working on the Henry J. Thrashing away. I just told him a minute ago he had the heat turned up too high. He came in this morning. I had to go to the chiropractor's because I'm way out of whack. He had the heat turned up too much. I said I like to keep it cold in here so he'll work harder. So he's on it now. The furnace just turned off.
Now I have to work.
What we have to do to this car, we're going to finish terminating the wiring that Jordan couldn't do because it didn't have an engine. So Jeff's got that almost finished up here. We have to make some changes in the doors. Then rivet that panel in there. Throttle linkage, you know, just odds and ends stuff. I have to build headers, which I think I'm going to start them next week. And just TLC it. The rear end in this car is just, the bolts are in it. So it's not centered, the pinion angle's not set. Nothing's right back there. So what I'm going to do once I get this truck moved out of the way is set it up on my boxes that I built for my scales, and then start squaring all that stuff up of the world. So then I gotta, as you can see in there, it's just got a yoke in it, so I gotta get it set up so I can measure the drive shaft length, go up to Fort Wayne and get the drive shaft for this and for Bill's car. So one thing you'll notice on this car when we get the front end on it is the front wheels are way forwards. I did that on purpose. Guys will think, oh, you got them way out of the wheel opening too far. I knew that with Greg never driving a car before like this, the longer the wheelbase, the more stable a car will be. So I stretched the wheelbase out on it. So anywho, front end setting here. I probably will have to trim the bottom of the fenders a little bit, but I sort of knew that going in. You can't, if the car's not together, you can't do none of that stuff. Yeah. Well, you gotta see this. See if you can see it. Maybe not. Yeah. We're getting there. All good. I'll show you the truck, and then I've got a tech tip today I want to show you. This is pretty cool. Didn't get much done on the truck, but I got a little. I got the plug wires done. They run underneath like the factory wires are supposed to run. And I got my fuel line on. I've got a tip to show you on putting fuel lines together later on. I should have done it when I did this, but I put AN fitting in it and run an AN hose. So I'm going to start wiring this week, and I told you that. So I'm going to come out here and show you a trick. So it's pretty cool. It involves silicone spray. This is blaster spray, silicone. I got from my buddy Barney Barnhart. I'll show you this. I'm going to try to get you set up here so you can see what I'm doing. Sorry for all the wiggling and jiggling, fellas. But here's what we do. You've got a boot like this, and it's hard to get the wire in. I'm talking about universal fit wires that you've got to crimp the ends on. Take the wire, cut it on an angle, okay? Push the angle into the boot, spray everything with silicone, push it this way, and then you squeeze the boot a little bit like this, and that wire will slide right through there, easy peasy. You try to cut them square like they send you like this, you can't get that around that corner, but cutting that on a 45-degree angle makes life super easy. And then I'll show you something else. These pliers here are Accel plug wire pliers. You can strip on the one end, stick the wire in there and strip it, and then this hole here crimps that plug wire end on nice and neat like this. Those are worth their weight in gold. These are Accels. I've had these. My good friend Ollie Volpe gave these to me a long time ago when he was working for Mr. Gasket. But MSD makes them. There's several companies that make these pliers, and they'll do weather pack fittings and everything else. So if you're, doing wiring or any kind of crimping, buy a set of these. They are 10 times better than the other junk you can use. That's going to do it for today. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Hey everyone, it's Friday. We made it through another week. I will be here in the shop tomorrow. I think, like I said, I got to go pick up an engine in the morning. A couple things going on today that I'm going to try to focus on. Like I said before, getting that yellow truck out of the back room is pretty important. It's got to at least move, and I'm hoping by tomorrow afternoon it will do that under its own power. Depending on what I get done, I still have to work on the front brakes because I can't grease it, and I really don't like that. So I got to figure that one out. But let me show you what's happening in here, or what has happened too. We got the Henry J up on blocks. I have reset the rear suspension. I'm not liking, I think it should be a little lower, but it doesn't have a battery, it doesn't have any fuel, so I'm waiting to see there. If it doesn't drop down much, I'm probably going to put a lighter spring on the rear end. I've got 125s on it. I probably drop down to like 100 maybe. We've got the drive shaft measured. Everything's squared up in the rear end. Like I said, I got all that done and all that tightened up. Jeff spent a bunch of time yesterday working on wiring. He's got the alternator wired up. The radiator was crooked. We had to fix that, and I don't know what the heck happened there. I think what happened is when I took these out to weld this puke tank bracket on, I got them swapped side for side, and they were off about 1/8 of an inch. So, but yeah, he's got the wiring run out of there. All that's done. Coil bracket made. We have to make a regulator mount, throttle linkage, spring mount, but the firewall's riveted in it. I took the spacer out of the steering that Rory put in there for some reason. I don't know why, but we've not aligned the front end, and I still have to order the shocks for the front. I think I know what to do there, but I'm going to call Eric at AFCO and talk to him a little bit about it, because I'm concerned. Like the front leaf springs on my car, they settle about 1.5 inches. I'll show you that in a later video, but I'm concerned about that. So I don't want to put a 5-inch stroke shock on here and then have it bottom out. So I think on Rory's, because the engine's so heavy, it settled a lot too, and it ended up like when he did wheelies, it bounced down, and I think it mashed the shock a little bit. So we put a 4-inch body on the 5-inch shaft, and then that helped a ton. So, and that's done. He's supposed to come today. That gap looks big, but it's actually factory width. I don't know if you can see this, but I think I showed you that. It's all out. and all the wheels are bolted on, and it's by the door. So I can, in theory, I can pick it back up. I use a forklift to get it here, so we can rechain it and pull it out, and he can get it pulled on his trailer and get it out of here. I got aluminum out here. The next thing I got to do is do Dave Crabtree's tonneau cover and build Rocky's dash. So I may do his dash a little bit different than what was in there originally, because I did it 30 years ago. But hey, it was pretty nice still. It just had a bunch of holes drilled in it, so we're going to fix that. Then back in our truck, I've started the wiring harness. I've got the mount for the fuse block mounted. I got the circuit breaker for the heater mounted, and I've decided that control, I'm going to go ahead and drill the dash and put them in the dashboard. I'm going to make them permanent since the heater's not going to come out, so I'm going to work on that too. Yeah, pulling wiring. I got to get two of these harnesses through the dashboard, or the hole in the firewall up here where the choke cable comes through. That shouldn't be an issue. Get them all through there so I can get the motor wired and the tail lights done. Then, like the headlight harness, I'll just tie wrap up here and hold it up till get the front end in here and get it fixed. There's some odds and ends that need to be done on that, and you know, bottoms of the fenders are broken, and the holes are tore up for the fender mounts, like where it bolts to the body. They're tore up, so I'm going to try to weld some fender washers in there and make that a little bit better so I can get the front end on. But like I said before, the grease zerk, I don't know if you can see this, like, you know, the back side, the grease zerk down there hits on the bracket, and I really don't like that. I'm going to try to put a 90-degree zerk in there and then grind the bracket a little bit to make it work. But I've had several people critique my latest video. All of them been really good but one, and that's okay. I don't care. Got to be tough when you're dumb. Gonna wire the headlights on that yet. We've not done that. We're gonna wait till last. I'm gonna cut the fenders a little bit to clear the tires. Like I said before, I made the wheelbase long in this car and wide on purpose, so more stable. But anywho, that's what we got going on Friday. I probably will post this tonight, and then I'll probably do a video tomorrow morning and include that next week's. So I'm hoping you guys like the way that I'm doing this, a week in the life. I'm pretty happy with it. Like I said, I got a lot to learn about editing. You know, trying to figure this stuff out on my own. So it's all good, but that's what we got going on in the national headquarters. Can't wait to get that yellow thing running. So, okay, thanks for watching. Thanks for putting up with me this whole week. I mean, I'm enjoying this. Like I say, don't want to be a millionaire doing this. I don't want to be famous. It doesn't matter. I have enough friends in my life. I'm good with that. I'm glad that I'm, you know, making some YouTube friends, and maybe everybody's learning something from what I'm doing. But yeah, and honestly, like my tips, it's making it a little easier to share them. So we'll do a lot more of those now that we're figuring out how that works. So thanks for watching, everybody. Tell your friends, get them to subscribe and watch what's going on, because the more people that know that there's this information on my channel, the more it'll help in the end. So thanks, guys. See ya. Here's a tip here, guys. I'm pulling this wiring. I got my fuse block mounted up in there, and then also I put a big tie wrapper on it to keep from breaking the little tabs off the box. So what I do is I try to comb all the knots out of this as I go, and everywhere there's a end of a wire, I tape it in so that I know what I'm looking for as I go, because when you tape this all together, it's a whole lot easier to get it through the grommets and stuff than if you try to fish it one wire at a time. It usually ends up getting super knotted up. But everywhere I've got tape, there's a wire end, so I can get that through the firewall grommet, and then I can start splitting that tape off and sorting it out once I get it underneath the hood. This is like the headlight in the engine harness. I'll get this through first, then I'll get the tail light harness through it, and then I'll, you know, sort out the dash stuff. So I thought that might help a little. Like I say, this is a lot easier to try to get it through as a bundle, nice and straight, versus trying to pull every wire through a grommet. Okay, later.